No catchphrase, no gimmicks. I'm back again. So let us begin. Alright, so how to think and live outside of the box. Alright, because first of all, I just want to start off by saying that it is very easy to believe the information that you've been given. You know, you take it however it's been given, you roll with it because you're not questioning it, because you're caught up in the many aspects of your life, the many hustles and bustles. So, you know, a bit of information may just be passed on to you before you even know what to do with it. Before you know, you're repeating it, and you take it as fact, and you take it as face value. Um, so, so the first way to live outside of the box, to think outside of the box, is to question all the information that you've been given. All right, it's very easy to manipulate any bit of information that you give, whether on purpose or accident, because these things do happen accidentally as well. You know, like a lot of people, it's their job to report what's been given to them. I mean, they would hope that it's true, because what person is going to want to admit that, hey man, I've been passing on information that I don't even believe. This is my job. And like, that's a very destructive thing. Information in the wrong hands can be very destructive, you know. Luckily, we live in a time where, although I think that it's still fairly easy to fall into an agenda of sorts and things like that, we also do have a plethora of resources that we can use to come to our own conclusions. So that's one thing that I definitely realized, and with how smarter we are getting as the generations progress, I'm starting to feel more and more confident that we can make turns for the better. I mean, it just has to be that way, because too many of us have suffered for too long, and collectively we're starting to get to a point where we are realizing that actually we don't want other people to hurt. We just don't want to feel as bad as we do. So it's starting to get to the point where it's like, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy, is what I hear a lot of, you know, from people in jail, for example. You know, so just question the information that you've been given. It's just highly imperative, man, especially because the masses rule, and you don't want to be quick to just agree, because every person that lines up and says, I agree to this, I agree to that, it's a vote in a sense. And the people who don't really have any hats in the races, who may soon come to find that this particular thing, no matter what it is of great importance, they have already been indoctrinated to the point where they are not going to question it. And this happens in many regards. Just pick one. Just pick any major field. You know, anything of that holds our lives of great importance that we aren't quite educated about in school. So the next thing is to spend time alone and unplug. I'm trying to get to a point where I spend one day out of the week, maybe a Sunday or so, where I really put the devices down, spend more time in one of my journals, spend time in the sun. You know, I mean, maybe even go to the pool or something. You know, it doesn't have to be all day, but just away from it all. Just take it all in. All the noises meshing to one another, all the sounds. It's all natural. You know, we're not going out and reaching for anything. We're letting life come to us for a day, unloading our plates for a day, and just practicing a great deal of introspection. So I'm not perfect with that, setting up a day to do that, but I can definitely foresee one coming soon. I mean, it's pretty simple for me. You know, I would go outside by a body of water, books, food, especially my journal, and just go to work and just plan. And I think that that will be very, very beneficial in this fast-paced life for sure. Any day you ask me, that's gonna be my answer. All right, and it's just one thing that you can do if you feel like, what do I do? All right. Sometimes we overcomplicate the simple things, and so it's good to just go with simple answers. It's very simple to just go by a body of water and just leave the device down and write and breathe. You know, just talk to yourself for real. All right, so the final thing is just to embrace the newness. So that's along the lines of what I may be speaking on right now. If it's kind of new for you to leave the devices behind and let nature do its thing, and you mesh into it. So that may be the newness, but just allowing different perspectives to be introduced into your life, to be ingested. Discernment, my friends. And although I'm not a political person, but I just want to show you how far I'm willing to go as far as discernment goes, because I understand that Donald Trump, he has a lot of haters, he has a lot of supporters. I don't really give a fuck, honestly. Maybe I'm just a terrible American because hey, whatever. But I know there are some things that I can learn from him. Like, for example, just tough skin. And I like to make it. I like to say a joke where I say he got tough orange skin or whatever. But just tough skin, and whether if you hate him or you don't, like, you can't tell me that a lot of us would be better off if we had tougher skin. All right. So I can't get down with everybody's antics, but if there's something that I can learn from, hey, I'm listening. You know. And that's just how it's gonna go. Like, I know that there are some people who don't like me, but if you had the opportunity to sit down with me, you might pick up something. I might learn something from you. Because we all have something to teach. We all have something to learn. So I just wouldn't be quick to throw down information, to neglect it, even though I'm sure there have been plenty times, probably even in the recent past, where I'm hit with something out of left field and I just shut it down completely, or I may be quick to say no as opposed to giving out a response or an answer anyway. So I may put something down and then think about it for a little while and then come back around. But just embrace the newness that life will throw at you, because the further along we get, obviously, the more progressive is going to be. And it seems crazy to say, because I still feel pretty young. I was born in the 90s, but when I look back on my life, like, there was a time where, like, what, cell phones? That wasn't really a thing. It was beepers and all that, and I'll call you at a payphone once I get this number right here. Like I just couldn't fathom. Like, I remember playing on computers that didn't have internet. Like, what? That's just foreign now. Like, you tell a kid there's no internet, they start questioning what this device is even for. But, so just embrace the newness, and obviously get a strong grip on what worked, and what doesn't work anymore. You just get away from that, man. And I think that's just a great way to live outside of the box. And I do spend a lot of time out of the box and thinking outside of the box, man. That I know that there is a box out there, but I am so out of touch with it. There's really no part of me. Like, I'm so untamed right now that there's really no part of me that can change. Like, I will fucking kill myself before I try to fit into a mold, to a brand. Like, it's just not going to happen. All right. Like, if our morals, if our principles are fairly similar, then we'll work on just fine. We'll get on just fine. But there will be no, you know, assimilating. You know, this is just this is who I'm going to be. All right, for better or for worse. So, like, subscribe. I appreciate you all. Feels good to be back. Yada yada yada. Thanks a lot.